Hey
Hey,
mate, how are
hey,
you?
Daniel, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm playing a game, and I wanted you to give your argument against the mind-body dualism. So I'm gonna play fucking devil's advocate, if that's okay with you.
Devil's advocate.
I'm not gonna whistle out either. It's like I do believe in science. I do believe in the laws of physics.
Okay, all right, cool.
So yes,
Mind-body dualism problem. All right. So, do
yeah,
you
let's
believe that the
let's go.
law of conservation of matter is real?
Yes, indeed, I do believe that. I
You
do
believe in that?
affirm that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, do you then believe that energy is equal to the mass times the speed of light squared?
Yes.
So, it is fair to
As far
say.
as we know, that's
So, it is fair to say that the E equals mc squared formula is not using a directly proportional to term, but that it is literally equal. So it is equal. Energy is equal to mass times
yes.
the speed of light squared. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So then, under that basis, if you accept E equals mc squared, that would mean that energy would be finite.
Uh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. There are, as far as I know, there's no infinity
Okay.
technically.
Are you aware of the physics concept of work?
Yeah.
Was that a yes?
Yes. Yes. I said yes. Sorry.
All right. No, you're good.
Maybe my microphone didn't catch it.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, so for those that are not aware, the physics concept of work is where you are transferring energy from one thing to another thing, and then it causes it to displace. Right?
Yeah. It's
It's a
basically
very
usable
very
energy.
yes,
Yes.
it is a very specific concept, right? And there's an X amount of energy to move
Yes.
an X amount of mass, and anyway, so that is
Therefore, an X amount of energy that is able to do work.
yes, correct. Okay. And so that would mean one, energy is finite, the mass is finite, and the mass and energy must come from somewhere. Okay. And so would you say that a thought can cause work to occur?
The thought itself does work.
Can cause work to occur. Let me give you an example. You think about that you're out of food and that you need to go to Walmart.
Yeah, it's like I understand what you're saying, but I think we are we m- not necessarily
Well,
with me
think about
because
it
I
this way,
understand where
right?
you're
You have
going
muscles,
to.
don't you? You
Yeah, yeah, it's like I
physically get
understand that,
up,
but there's a
walk,
difference. Yes, yes, but I know
you
what you're saying, but there's
exhibit
a difference
work on your
between.
body, correct? Based on a
That's true,
thought.
but that's true, but it's not the thought doing the actual work.
No, but it initiates
You
it,
have the
don't you think?
muscles doing. Yeah, sort of. Because look, I also think again, this is
Do you
the way
just
that I
like do
see
it
it.
autonomously with no
I
thought
think
whatsoever? Do you think that
thoughts.
you'd be able to
No, no, I
do
think
any of
thoughts
this
are
work? Do you
physical.
think you could do any of this work if you say had no brain?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, because I understand what you're saying, but I think this is just a semantic thing. I don't think the thought itself does any work. I think the thought itself is a product of work.
Well,
I
how about
think the thought
this?
itself is physical, right? You have
The
some
thoughts themselves
electrons.
are neurons that are firing, right?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
and there's some
So
electrons
the
in those
neurons
neurons. So
firing,
that's the
right?
thought.
Yeah, that's chemicals that are
Yeah,
doing work to
I mean it's a bit
move
more
from
complex,
one
but
to
yeah,
another,
we're
right?
yes,
Okay. So if you are able to know that your thoughts are generated by work, we do not observe any mechanism that is able to transfer from the ether into work. And because you don't have that mechanism, you can't break the law of conservation of mass, and also it would also be coincidentally as well energy. So the energy doesn't come from nowhere. It would have to come from somewhere, namely the food that you consume. All of that energy is already accounted for. There is no mechanism that pulls from
Yeah,
the
I agree
ether
with
into
you.
existence. Therefore,
Yeah, I agree
mind-body
with you in the
dualism is
sense.
impossible.
No, so I agree with you in the sense that I don't think thoughts are something that's outside of the physical realm. I think thoughts are, as I said,
Yeah.
they're just
Well,
electrons and chemicals in
assume
our
you think
brain.
that the thoughts are something independent. Fine. That's great. But it still outputs into work, which means
Yeah, but
that
I still don't
you
see
you
how.
how does it not?
Yeah,
You would have to
I don't
acknowledge
see
that
how
your
that
thoughts
works
are
actually.
neurons firing, or rather, at least the thought initiates the neurons firing, and we have no indication of any of those chemicals or electrons breaking the second law I'm sorry, not the second law, the law of conservation of mass. Not a single instance. So kicking the can down the road does absolutely nothing. It literally disproves mind-body dualism.
Yeah, but I don't think, as I said, I don't think the thought itself does any work. That's I think that's I
What?
understand where you're going with it, and I understand why you're
Do
saying
thoughts
that, but
make
I don't think
neurons
that.
fire?
Mm, no, thoughts are the result of neurons firing, and the neuron
Okay, so
firing
you can't
that's
have a thought without
the
neurons
work.
firing, right?
Yeah, it's like the thought is just the representation of the neuron
Okay,
firing.
so a neuron firing is work.
Yeah, but that's where like kind of like the thing kind of stops, because it's not like
Well, the
neurons
neuron does
fire
work,
without
and
having
the
a
neuron
thought.
is doing work on the basis of
Just a second.
energy that's already accounted for.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
but
where
like
exactly is this
neurons,
mechanism
neurons.
that pulls things from the ether and then influences the
Yeah,
neurons?
yeah. Again, I don't necessarily believe there's anything coming from the ether. I don't
I
think
know
there's
you're
anything
playing
that's
devil's advocate,
non-physical.
but you get my point.
Yeah, yeah. But
It's
the
not
the
really
thing is like
something to be
neurons.
refuted, is my
Yeah, yeah, but
point.
neurons fire regardless, right? So for example, it's like you have automatic movements in your body, which are like, for example, let's say in your heart, right? Like your heart pumps regardless of whether you want it or not, and because there's a clumps of neurons that they're like independent and they keep firing and they fire, and because of the fact that they keep doing it, your heart keeps pumping because they give the you know
Okay, but that's
command to
all just
to to
from
the,
the
to the,
fact that
the
you
muscle,
ate
right? But that's not
food
a
and then
thought,
you're
right? Like
consuming
your
the
heart doesn't
energy and
have thoughts.
yeah, that's fine. I'm saying that like you're having like you're just talking about like the portion of the brain that fires neurons specific to motor function in the body. But that's
Yeah, but
all
I don't think
energy.
I don't
That's
think
all
the concept
energy
of
that's
energy
accounted
doing
for.
work, because I understand your point, but I don't think it's a good point, because I don't think you should talk about the fact that there's energy that can do work and energy that cannot do work, and because of that you can disprove mind-body dualism. I don't think that's actually a good argument.
I'm lost. I'm saying that you don't have any you don't have any mechanism outside of this, and so therefore I can't. I disprove mind body dualism. It's that simple.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you, it's like how uh, people might contradict you, right, on this, because they could say, well, I mean, the soul, right? Let's say the soul is something that's non-physical, comprised of something that's non-energy, right? And they can say, yeah, yeah, but that's fine. There's the soul is linked to your neurons, so whenever the soul wants to do something, it just commands the neurons
Does the
to
soul
fire, and
influence
that's the work.
neurons to fire?
Yes.
Okay, where's the mechanism that does that?
Well, it
Because
is
you're
written on
talking
your
about
heart
work. It's
by
coming from
God.
something. Where is it coming from?
It's from no, but it's not doing work. That's the thing. It's
All right.
it's, it's the unmoved mover,
The only
yeah,
way that
right?
we're
So
yeah,
it's
the
like
only
it's
way that you're
just
going to get me to
pure.
concede is that you have to show some sort of mechanism that makes that the reality, effectively breaking the
Well,
conservation of
it's written
mass.
on your heart. It's done by special revelation. You understand? So
I'm glad you
That
play devil's
I'm not
advocate.
even
That's
joking.
good
That's
one.
how people are gonna say, right? They're gonna
That's
say it's like, yeah,
stupid.
it's just the
I mean,
soul.
you
It's,
know
it's
that's
just not this
dumb. You know that's
immaterial
silly.
shit.
It's just some
Well,
woo-woo
yes,
nonsense.
I do,
It's
but
just
I'm
dumb.
telling you what they're gonna say,
Yeah, I get
and
it.
it's obviously it's a you know it's
I get. I mean, at
unfalsifiable.
that point, it's just like, okay, well then, you know what? You know, the Sneeches are fighting the Snooches, and there's a leprechaun behind you. But anytime you look back there, there's no leprechaun. And if you use a camera or a mirror or anything, it also disappears. And if there's anybody else in the room, it also disappears. But there's definitely a leprechaun right there.
Yeah, yeah. How can you disprove there's no
Can't
leprechaun? Because
disprove
people are,
it. Can't
you know,
disprove
this
that
guy
there
people are.
isn't a
Yeah,
leprechaun.
it's like, can you show me there's no leprechauns? Exactly. It's like, can you do it? No. Therefore, you're wrong. Period. That's what
Anyway,
people are gonna say,
I'm gonna
and
move
it's
on to
stupid.
the.
That I know.
We're gonna move on to the next thing. Let's see here. Does anybody want to